say living life is free, I'll have to deny, 'cause every day I pay the price.
You ever think that we're still under a monarchy system? Hear me out here, because personally I live in the States, and I honestly feel that sometimes we still are kind of under the same system that we wanted to leave. Now, let me make this clear. I don't think it's obviously not a monarchy system, and I'm not even talking about the president. Although he does have something to do with it, I'm really speaking over the whole system itself. But before we get into that, and how America's still under a monarchy system, kind of, I don't know. Welcome to the Complicated But Kinda Simple podcast. I'm here again with another video for you guys. I hope you guys are excited. I know I'm a little late this time, but so much schoolwork, even though I'm in summer, and then I got work, blah blah blah. I'm here now, and I'm making a video. So let's jump right into it. If you do enjoy it, like, subscribe, really helps the channel. If you don't, leave a dislike, comment, totally understand. But also comment if you like it too. Anyways, let's get into it. And I was thinking about this because I think the one interesting part about America is that if you want to have your own kind of monarchy system, you can. But monarchies are almost now just private organizations and corporations, and let me explain this to you, because the amount of power that corporations have over our system of government, with the lobbyists and just making laws, and the fact that if you bring back $1 million revenue and a government gets paid from that money, and if you stop or move your company, they no longer get that money, it's kind of going to influence what they do and how they act and what they believe in, because you really are paying for their paycheck, So at the end of the day, it's really difficult to take away influence from people who have power. And that's kind of what I'm just talking about. Actually, that's exactly what I'm talking about. People with power, because the reality is that, and this happened, I think, with miners. So miners would go, and I forget how it worked, but they would go and there was a store, and it was the company store. So the same company that you would work for also owned a store that you therefore buy goods from. And therefore, the company at a certain point wouldn't even pay you with money. They would pay you with like company credit. So at that point, you're literally under their system. So you're under their currency, and you're under their goods, and there's no one else out there because it's the wild, wild west. And when I thought of that, and then I thought about how much influence companies have over us now, I'm like, it's not too different, Because the thing is with these companies, because they can leverage so much over the government, they can kind of start making their own rules, taxes, tax laws don't start getting enforced too much, and then things that are available to the people are really up to these places, because let's say a company doesn't want to sell a certain product, and that's the only company that you can buy from, or then you don't really have a choice. Like, you're going to have to get it from them, unless you start making your own, system, your own business, if you can, which is why we have laws and stuff, which is kind of the gray area with the monarchy, because with a monarchy, you kind of can't leave. You got to run away, or you got to fight the monarchy, which actually kind of sounds similar, because all you're doing is fighting it economically, but it's not my point. Physically, you would have to fight the monarchy or just run away. You can't just not pay taxes back then. But now, and when I say back then, I mean generally. Now, it's kind of more, you make your own business or you work for another company. But it kind of is just switching kingdoms in monarchies, This monarchy has its benefits, its pros and its cons. And this one has its pros and cons. A and B are different, but they both have similar features. Same thing goes to companies. You know, one company may pay you this much, the other may pay you that much, but maybe it gives you more vacation, or the other gives you better benefits, or the other one understands when things happen to your family and you go help them. I don't know, but at the end of the day, it's weird how we still assemble with these systems of, okay, there's a guy on top, or there's a group of guys on top, and they make rules, and we follow those rules. And then when you follow the rules and you work hard for that thing, you give it, you know, the time you put into it, that company benefits them, benefits you at the same time, but mostly them, because you're making them a lot of money, hopefully. And then at that point you can move up and hopefully be one of the top dogs. And it kind of is weird to me, because if you definitely look at politicians, for sure, a lot of the politicians, I forget what the exact phrasing was from the video I heard it from, but probability does not really go in favor of their bloodline being chosen, you know? And then it kind of sparked an idea in me, because it's true, you know? So when you have a king, you want your son to be king too, you know? So what do? You teach him. You teach him how to rule the land. You teach him, you know, what needs to be done, where the money comes from, how taxes, you know? You got set rules and set way of living. Same way with the company, you know? Your boss has a company, son or his daughter's husband, I forget what that's called, but goes and needs a job. What does he do? He says, well, I want to keep this within the family, so I'm going to give it to people I know, people I'm related to. Isn't that the same thing? You're still shifting the power in the same direction that it really was, you know? It's not going anywhere else. It's not like you're picking a random Joe on the street and being like, today's your lucky day, I'm going to train you to do... I mean, it's rare. It's rare for a company owner to look at someone and then and then that person works for that company owner, let alone just gives them the company, but works for that company owner to the point where he takes over, you know? That's rare. It's usually within family. Hereditary. And I think that it shows a lot. And then something else happened. So these people I know, or I've heard of, this guy was, you know, dating this nice young girl, and she was good, apparently. You know, she was a good person, super nice, you know, let's just call it even, and says she has the whole 9 yards, you know, she has everything great. But I'm not sure, but this is what they did. He really liked her, allegedly, and at that point, he didn't marry her, and he was super into her, but he just knew to cut off the relationship. Why? Well, that son's dad has a lot, and I mean a lot, of money, and the reality is, with that money, the father probably told the son, or the son deduced, I don't want to have to give this to someone where therefore they don't really give me any monetary benefit, and I'm just gonna have to, you know, run my company, and then their family's gonna get some of it, blah 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 blah. Okay, what does he do? Dumps her. Goes, meets someone new, but this time the first thing he's looking for is money, and money is power. So isn't that the same thing as you having two kingdoms, and one kingdom goes, hey, I see you have a lot of troops over there, and we happen to have a lot of troops. Instead of fighting, which, you know, companies fight too, economically, why don't we join our families together through marriage, and then that way we both benefit from this. It's the same thing. It's literally a monarchy. It's literally a kingdom. It's just got an economic, you know, umbrella over it. It's just in an economic way, but it's still kingdoms, monarchies. It hasn't changed. People are still getting married for money. You know, I know some people get married for love, but you know, it's kind of funny to me how, and let me get this straight, it's not necessarily a bad thing, you know, I'm not hating on it, I'm just pointing it out, but it's kind of interesting to me how the richer you get, the more people start worrying usually about the money that they have and who they're gonna start marrying. Knew this girl, apparently she was gonna get married. She had a fiance, he proposed to her, she had a lot of money, you know, he liked her, they got along well, looked like they were gonna have a great relationship. What ends up happening? Day of marriage, her family throws a prenup at him. Says, you gotta sign this before you get married to her, or it's off. Now, I wanna be honest and saying that that's not legal. I just want to make it clear, if you're under duress, and I believe that's the correct legal term, don't quote me, I'm not a lawyer at all. I took one business law class, no, two business law classes, but from my knowledge, and this is just conjecture, that you're under duress. So if you sign a prenup within, I think it's like 6 months, preferably, before you want to be able to sign that before the wedding, preferably a year, but at least 6 months. 3 months gets icy, 1 month is like yeesh, like that's starting to get dismissible in court. But one day before they try to get this guy to sign, that's not even legal, because that can be duress. You know, maybe he doesn't want to cancel the marriage because his family and his friends are depending on him, you know, and not depending, but expecting him to do this, and he thought he really loved this person, but they turned out to just flip on him at the last moment, and then he just signs the papers and gets married. That's not very legal, you know. Now, I'm gonna be honest, her lawyers and her family's lawyers, even if he does sign that paper and goes through with it, tries to scam them, like let's say he knows that they're doing that, or when he finds out that they're doing that, he recognizes it and then immediately, you know, doesn't care and tries to like get back at them by taking their money. That's still gonna be a heck of a fight in court, you know. That's not gonna be easy. But the point being is, the assets are still staying with a certain kingdom, you know. We can't have too much power being spread out. If I got 100 troops, which for them is more like 1 billion troops, but if I got 100 troops in my kingdom, and every single time one of my daughters gets married, I have to send 10 away, my kingdom's gonna start, you know, thinning out like a lot, because, you know, the more land I get, the more power, the more people gotta protect, you know. I got a lot more gears in the cog, you know, a lot more things need to start happening and moving. So they do that to him, and he says no, and, you know, I guess she's bummed, but I don't think so. You can't love him that much, you know. You should have told him before. I'm sure he still would have married you, you know. It's not like he's just therefore excluded from the money. She still gets a good amount of it, you know. So they're, you know, if you're actually living together as like a happy couple, shouldn't you, you know, be giving each other? I don't know. Look, that's not the point. The point is, you know, it's still important to them, to these rich families. These rich families, like, to me, it's like a monarchy. To me, it's still the same system. We got families who want power, who instead of doing it through force, now economically are out here fighting people. I mean, other companies, other kingdoms. I guess people, but mainly the other kingdom. And then you have people trying to find kingdoms and join them together and get married, and also trying to protect their kingdom, but making sure that only who they believe should be getting any of the wealth is getting it. And to me, personally, I think we kind of just flipped the book a little bit. Now, I mean, flip the page in the book, or like almost like scribbled over a little bit. We just, you know, changed it a little bit. It's not like it's totally different, but the one difference I think that the beauty of America is, you can make your own company. So you can go and start to make your own kingdom, under the rules of the government, of course, but legally speaking. But yeah, you can make your own kingdom and then go make your own monarchy. And I think that's honestly the beauty of it, you know, because that way everyone still has like a fair chance. And, you know, I'm really skipping some points in that argument because obviously, you know, not everyone's born in the same like areas and same amount of wealth and education and family and research. I get that. But, you know, ideally the idea is that if you work hard enough, you know, classic American dream, but just a new version. If you work hard enough and you have a bit of luck, you know, you'll make it. So I think that's the beauty of it, because even though we, in my opinion, we still kind of have these monarchies going around in the forms of companies, I think that beauty of America is awesome because you still can rise up and go and make money and make your company, you know, and have a good life at it too. You know, you don't even need to. You can live under a company which is living under someone's kingdom and enjoy your time there. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly viable too. You know, there has to be rulers and there has to be servants. Well, we call them workers now and we pay them and they should have rights, but they still get screwed over, sadly. That's not ideal. I'm not saying it is, but what I'm saying is it's not too far off from where we were, but at the same time, it's changed to the point where I think that it's a lot more enjoyable for people. Anyways, if you guys agree with what I said in this podcast, I know it's a bit of a long one, but I've been thinking about this the whole past week. That's why, you know, that was part of the reason I hadn't posted it. But if you do agree, disagree, find it interesting, whatever it is, like button. If you didn't like it, dislike. I was going to say dissubscribe. I don't even know what that is. I guess unsubscribe. If you didn't like it, you know, screw this channel, throw it in the garbage. Hey, you know. But if you can, show it to a friend. Or if you would like to, if you enjoy the content, leave me a comment, let me know. I really enjoyed making this. I'm so happy you guys listened. If you're new, welcome. This is what I do. Got crazy kooky thoughts, you know, and I give it out to the people. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day again. Thank you so much for listening. And cheers.